What if I told you your reflection holds more truth than any fairy tale magic mirror? When we build our entire identity around another person, we risk losing ourselves completely. In Mirror, Mirror on the Wall, poet Kegan Lee Mosby doesn't just capture heartbreak, he maps the journey from devastation to freedom. While Snow White's stepmother asked her mirror who was the fairest, we ask our mirrors a much more terrifying question. Who am I without the person I love? The answer might break you open, but that breaking is where your transformation begins. Every verse of this poem reflects a stage in the universal journey we all face when relationships end. But instead of just surviving loss, what if you could use it as a catalyst for profound self-discovery?
Hello everyone, welcome to the Reaction Room with Amy Fortune, a sanctuary where words weave into imagery to mend the soul. Today we embark on an intimate exploration of a poem that lays bare the raw edges of human experience, heartbreak, vulnerability, and the quiet, resilient journey towards reclaiming inner strength. Over the next 26 minutes, we'll unravel the layers of this work, peeling back its verses to unravel the life lessons and profound shifts in perspective that await you. The poem is titled Mirror, Mirror on the Wall by Kegan Lee Mosby. This isn't just a poem, it's a map through the wilderness of emotional upheaval. Heartbreak often feels like a storm that uproots everything we thought we knew about ourselves, leaving us exposed and fragile. Yet within that vulnerability lies the seed of something extraordinary: resilience, self-awareness, and the courage to heal. This journey is universal, echoing the struggles and triumphs we all face when life demands we rebuild from the ashes. Think of this video as a companion, a gentle hand extended to guide you through the fog. Whether you are nursing a fresh wound or reflection on scars long healed, these verses offer wisdom and solace. So settle in, open your heart, and let's begin this pilgrimage together through the shadows of despair towards the light of rediscovery.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, will I survive this heartbreak's call? Built my whole life around one soul. Now I'm adrift, no longer whole. Mirror, tell me, will I stand or crumble like a castle's sand? Each dream and hope was intertwined. Now shadows linger, undefined. In your reflection, truths are told. Yet all I see feels stark and cold. Will there be strength within my heart to mend the seams that split apart? Mirror, mirror, silent and tall, whisper the truth that I might fall. Or in your gaze, I only see a heart unmoored, forever at sea.
Welcome back. So we'll still go back to the video and play it bit by bit like we normally do.
Mirror, Mirror on the wall, will I survive this heartbreak's call? Built my whole life around one soul. Now I'm adrift, no longer whole.
Identity beyond a single soul. Built my whole life around one soul. Now I'm adrift, no longer whole. These words strike at the heart of a common human experience, the tendency to weave our entire existence around another person, be it a lover, a friend, or a family member. In the tender dance of connection, it's easy to blur the boundaries between me and we, to let our sense of self dissolve into the contours of someone else's presence. But what happens when that soul departs? The poet captures the aftermath with haunting precision. We are left adrift, unmoored, a ship without an anchor, no longer feeling whole. This moment of loss exposes a fragile truth. When we tether our identity to another, we risk losing the very essence of who we are. In psychology, this is often linked to codependency, a dynamic where our self-worth and emotional stability hinge on someone else's approval or presence. It's a house built on sand. Beautiful until the tide comes in. The poem doesn't just lament this vulnerability, it challenges us to rethink it. Our worth isn't a gift bestowed by another. Is a flame that burns within us, waiting to be tended. This shift from seeking external validation to embracing self-reliance is nothing short of revolutionary. It's not about rejecting connection, but about ensuring that our relationships enhance rather than define us. Imagine a tree in a forest, one that leans too heavily on its neighbor may grow tall, but its roots remain shallow. When the supporting tree falls, it topples too. In contrast, a tree that stands alone digs deep into the earth, its roots sprawling wide to weather any storm. So it is with us. By cultivating our own interest, values, and passions, we build a foundation that no loss can shake. Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre, with his existentialist lens, would argue that we alone are responsible for crafting our meaning. The poet echoes this, urging us to turn inward to nurture an identity that stands firm, even when the winds of change howl. This isn't a solitary endeavor, it's a reclaiming of power, a recognition that our intrinsic value shines brightest when we honor it ourselves. Here in the fading silhouettes and the solitary figure finding footing, we see the first step, the courage to stand alone and rediscover who we are. Let's go back to the poem.
Mirror, tell me, will I stand or crumble like a castle's sand? Each dream and hope.
Resilience in the face of heartbreak. Will I survive this heartbreak's call? Or will I stand or crumble like a castle's sand? These lines tremble with the weight of uncertainty, echoing the questions that haunt us in our darkest hours. Heartbreak isn't just a crack in the heart. It's a seismic event, shaking the foundations of our world. The poet lays bare this turmoil, asking not just if survival is possible, but whether we can rise intact or collapse like a fragile structure washed away by the tide. It's a universal cry, one we've all whispered in moments when the pain feels too vast to bear. Yet, there's bravery in these questions. To voice them is to confront the abyss, to stand at the edge and demand an answer from the depths of our being. Is there strength within us to mend what's broken? This act of inquiry isn't weakness, it's the first spark of resilience. Vulnerability, as the post suggests, isn't a flaw to be hidden, it's the raw material of courage. Brain Brown, a leading voice on the subject, puts it beautifully. Vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. In Heartbreak, this means daring to feel the full weight of our sorrow rather than numbing it away. Science backs this up with the concept of post-traumatic growth. Studies show that after profound adversity, many people emerge not just intact, but transformed, stronger, wiser, with a deeper appreciation for life. It's not that the pain vanishes, it's that we learn to carry it differently. Think of a muscle under strain. Tiny tears form during exertion, but as they heal, the muscle grows more robust. So too with the heart. When we allow ourselves to break and then mend, we build resilience that can withstand future storms. The poet's lesson is a lifeline. Vulnerability is the doorway to resilience. By facing our fears and embracing our pain, we don't just survive heartbreak, we grow through it, stepping into a version of ourselves that's stronger for having been shattered. Let's go back to the foundation of the story.
Each dream and hope was intertwined. Now shadows linger, undefined. In your reflection, truths are told. Yet all I see feels stark and cold. Will there be strength within my heart to mend the seams that split apart? Mirror, mirror, silent and tall.
Loss as a catalyst for transformation. Each dream and hope was intertwined. Now shadows linger undefined. Loss carves a hollow space within us, and these words capture its ache with stark clarity. When our dreams and hopes are bound with one another, their absence leaves us in a twilight of confusion. Shadows where once there was light, outlines blurred where certainty once stood. It's a disorienting unraveling, as if the threads of our life have been pulled apart, leaving us to gather the frayed ends. But what if we reframe this unraveling? What if loss, as raw and wrenching as it feels, isn't merely an ending, but a transformative force? The image of a sandcastle crumbling under the waves is both fragile and profound. It reminds us of life's impermanence, how even the most cherished structures can dissolve under the time's relentless tide. The poet invites us to see beyond the collapse, to recognize what within this deconstruction lies the potential for something new. Loss strips away illusions, forcing us to face reality unadorned. It's a harsh teacher, yes, but a powerful one at that. Like a forest fire that raises old growth to nourish the soil for new life, loss clears the ground for transformation. The myth of the phoenix comes to mind, a creature consumed by flame, only to rise anew from its ashes. In our own lives, The ashes of what we've lost can become the fertile earth for growth if we are willing to tend it. Destruction isn't the end, it's the prelude to renewal. The pain of losing what we held dear cracks us open, but from those cracks, light seeps in. We rebuild not just to restore what was, but to create something stronger, wiser, more authentic. The past message is a quiet revolution. From the fragments of our past, we have the chance to sculpt a self that stands taller than before. Let's go and get more points.
Was intertwined. Now shadows linger, undefined. In your reflection, truths are told. Yet all I see feels stark and cold. Will there be strength within my heart to mend the seams that split apart? Mirror, mirror, silent and tall, whisper the truth that I might.
The mirror of self-reflection. Mirror, mirror on the wall, whisper the truth that I might fall. In your reflection, truths are told, yet all I see feels stark and cold. The mirror here is no fairy tale prop. It's a stark, unflinching portal into the self. The poet's plea for truth, even at the risk of falling, is an act of radical courage. To stand before the mirror of the soul is to invite a reckoning, to see not just the polished surface we present to the world, but the hidden corners, the cracks, the shadows we'd rather ignore. And at first, that reflection can feel chillingly cold, a stark tableau of flaws and wounds laid bare. This introspection is the heart of the poem's fourth movement. In theology, Carl Jung called this confrontation, the engagement with the shadow self. Those repressed parts of us we deny or bury. To look into this mirror is to meet our fears, our regrets, our unhealed pain. It's daunting, even disorienting, as the poet suggests, with truths are told, yet all I see feels stark and cold. But this discomfort is the crucible of growth. Only by facing these truths can we begin to integrate them, to move beyond mere survival into transformation. Yet the mirror offers more than judgment, it holds promise. The ancient Greek maxim, know thyself, inscribed at the temple of Apollo, reminds us that self-awareness is the bedrock of wisdom. As we gaze deeper, the coldness softens. We see not just scars, but the resilience they've forged. Not just pain, but the lessons taught. This shift from rejection to acceptance breeds self-compassion, a quiet warmth that replaces the initial chill. The lesson here is profound. True growth demands honest self-examination. It's not about achieving perfection, but about embracing our wholeness, flaws and all. By leaning into our vulnerabilities and decoding our pain, we uncover the potential for new beginnings. The mirror becomes a teacher, guiding us toward authenticity. It's a call to stop running from ourselves, to stand still, and to find strength in the truth we've dared to face. Let's go back again.
My fall. Or in your gaze, I only see a heart unmoored, forever at sea.
embracing emotional autonomy. A heart unmoored forever at sea. This closing image is both haunting and liberating. A heart set to loose from its moorings, drifting across an endless expanse. After the storms of heartbreak, we might feel lost, untethered, as if the anchors that once held us steady have been swept away. Yet within this vastness lies a quiet invitation to embrace emotional autonomy, to claim the freedom of a life no longer defined by another's presence or approval. Being at sea can be terrifying. There's no shore in sight, no familiar landmarks to guide us. But the poet reframes this drift as an opportunity. Emotional autonomy isn't about isolation. It's about building an inner compass, a resilience that lets us navigate life on our own terms. It's the difference between clinging to someone else's map and learning to chart our own course. This doesn't mean we reject connection, no. Rather, we ensure that our relationships enrich us without dictating our worth. Think of the hero's journey, a staple of myth and story. The protagonist often ventures alone into the unknown, facing trials that reveal their true strength. So it is with us. These moments of being unmoored are our odyssey, a chance to explore the uncharted waters of our soul. The sailboat in the visuals is a perfect emblem. A solitary vessel, reliant on its captain's skill to read the winds and waves. We, too, must learn to steer through life's calms and storms, trusting our instincts and resilience. This journey isn't a straight line, it's a winding path of discovery, with detours and tempests that teach us who we are. Letting go of external validation frees us to dive into our inner landscapes, to unearth our passions, confront our fears, and define our purpose. The poet's heart, forever at sea, isn't doomed to wander aimlessly. It's liberated to sail towards horizons of its own making. Here, in the open waters, we find not just survival but sovereignty, the power to shape a life that's wholly, authentically ours. As we draw this exploration to a close, let the echoes of this poem linger in your mind. Every heartbreak, every tender moments of vulnerability is more than a wound. It's a doorway to transformation. Through these verses, we've journeyed from the fragility of a soul adrift to the freedom of one unmoored, from the stark truths of the mirror to the resilience born of loss. The thread tying it all together is this: your identity isn't a shadow cast by the relationships you once leaned on. It's a light kindled within, a strength you unearth in the quiet of your own being. This isn't a path walked once and done. It's a cycle we revisit with every fracture life brings. But each time, we emerge a little more whole, a little more ourselves. The first words are a gift, a compass for navigating the chaos, pointing us towards renewal. Now, if this journey stirred something in you, if it's mirrored your own struggles or sparked a flicker of recognition, please join us in this space. Like this video, subscribe to the Poetry channel, and let your voice ripple out in the comments below. Your story, your reflection could be the lifeline someone else is reaching for, a beacon in their storm. I would also want you to go to our website, www.keganleemosby.com, www.poetry.ca to have access to poems written by poets all over the world. And make sure you join us on all our social media channels that are displayed on the screen. Before we wrap up our package today, we have a book we're going to recommend for you. The title of the book is Daring Greatly: How the Courage to Be Vulnerable Transforms the Way We Live, Love, and Parent, by Brené Brown. This book delves deeply into the concept of vulnerability and its importance in living a full and authentic life. It's where she thoroughly explores and explains how vulnerability is not weakness, but rather a crucial element of courage. Thank you for sharing this time with us, for daring to look within. Until we meet again, keep seeking the truth in your reflection, keep tending the strength in your heart, and know that even in the vastness of your sea, you were never truly lost.